What's going on, everybody? Let's talk about the gateway. And so we're clear, we're going to put it out there. The gateway is the gateway drug that led everybody into, or whomever, into their addiction that took them down that rabbit hole. All right, so for me, when I was young, probably 12, 11, 12, somewhere around there, maybe 13, probably 12. But I shattered my arm. And I went to the emergency room and they gave me a shot of morphine. And I remember telling my mom, she was there, I was like, now I understand why you do what you do. My mom was a severe heroin addict and she used to do all kind of wild, crazy shit. So at that point, I felt something in me that I've never felt before. And it was euphoric, pure euphoria. It was amazing. And from then on, I got the script of Vicodin, 5 milligram. The M357s, the little white oblong pills. And I was 12 or 13. And also at the time, I was seeing a doctor for bipolar disorder, depression, the whole list of things. I was an angry child, angry youth. And so that gateway for me was benzos and painkillers. That was at a young age, and them benzos and painkillers were prescribed to me legally from 12 years old on until 17, 18 when my insurance ended from the state. And throughout that whole time, I never knew that I was addicted. And when I noticed I become addicted was when the insurance dropped. I was probably 15 or 16 when it dropped for some reason. But when the insurance dropped, I could no longer get my prescription for my Klonopin, 1 milligram Klonopin dissolvable tabs, and my Vicodin M357 pills. And I was sick. I didn't feel well. I felt like I had the flu. Rapid heartbeat, like my heart was mispacing from the benzo withdrawal. And I had no idea what it was. And then finally I got hip to what it was through my mom and my father, and one thing led to another, and I started doing other things, and that's where it snowballed into a full-blown heroin addiction. Fast forward 15 years and a lot of time behind bars and missing a lot of loved ones and time and memories. But that was the purpose of this, was that gateway that started you when you were whatever age that you started your addiction at. That there is such thing as a secondary gateway is what I like to call it. Now that I'm in recovery and there's triggering points throughout the whole time, there's going to be for everybody. Nobody's perfect. It's going to happen. So don't ever beat yourself up about it. But the secondary part of what I'm saying is you don't always think about going full force back into an addiction. You think that you can pick up what you started with at the very beginning, whether it was pills or smoking weed or anything. And once you start doing the small things, just like in the beginning, the small things gradually get bigger. You rationalize it in your head to make it seem like it's okay. And further and further you get into it, the more and more it gets. Next thing you know, you're sniffing them. Next thing you know, you're going down the other route. And that's what I want to make it aware to everybody, is that if you're able to know what triggered you in the beginning of your addiction and what started you, what was the catalyst to all of this, then you will more than likely be able to see it now that you're into recovery. I'm speaking to this is to the followers that are currently into recovery and have some time under their belt, and for the ones it's not, for the ones for when you do get to that point, because you will get to that point. Every one of you will get there. It just takes time, patience, love. But when you do get there and you're able to see that, like, oh man, maybe I could just take this one Adderall instead of doing the ice. That's the beginning. That's the triggering point. That's where if you just got to know to say no to that. So many people are able to smoke weed and just live a happy life. I wasn't able to do it. Did it. I got lazy. I got very stagnated within my life. I didn't like that. So I had, cut that in the bud. And now this is where I am. I'm happy. My vice is working out, going to work, doing the family thing, and working on stuff. And YouTube now. But please be aware of yourself, be aware of your surroundings, and be aware of what you're doing. That's the super important part. All right, guys. Thank you. Love y'all.